So let's talk reading goals for January. How many books did you read? I read 12 total, 8 ebooks and 4 physical books. So, I'm a little proud because I'm terrible. I buy a lot of physical books and then they're pretty, and my brain says I'm done and I don't read anymore. Or I read them like 4 years later, but it's fine. I read these 4, and I also have been keeping up with my little reading journal that I started that wasn't meant to be a reading journal, but it was too cute to just write work notes in. So I just put like a picture of the book, a little synopsis, some thoughts, things like that. So made me happy that I kept up with it. Let's see if I do it all year. I wanted to start with the 4 physical books because the bulk of what I read on Kindle was a series. So I'll talk about that like as a big lump. For my physicals, I actually started My Funny Demon Valentine in, I want to say December, but I was kind of reading this while I was reading some other things. And I was kind of trying to just savor it because I was really having a good time and it was funny. And I'm really looking forward to reading about Ash's brothers in the next books that come out because I really liked Ash, but his brothers brought me immense joy. I also finally read Bound to the Shadow Prince. Don't tell Ruby that I didn't read it right when it came out. I had it, I bought it, I just didn't read it. Finally read this book, and it's pretty lengthy, but I liked it a lot. And the main male character is very gargoyle-esque in the way they describe him, but they're essentially they're from 2 different kingdoms. They're sent to this tower, and they're supposed to live there, I want to say, for 7 years. And they're enemies, like their kingdoms hate each other. But you can guess what happens. And there's a lot of twists and turns that I didn't see coming. And there's a twist at the end that I was like, Ruby Dixon, I thought I knew you. I enjoyed that because I was like, okay, all right, okay. Guess I didn't know you as well as I thought I did, but I was still fine with it. It just kind of shocked me a little bit. I buddy read this with Nicole because her and I, it's funny, we have like our separate TBRs and then we have a combined TBR of things we've already committed to reading together because we know we're going to want to talk about it. But we read Quicksilver and Kingfisher. Really did enjoy this book. The end was a little chaotic for me, and there's a part where I'm like, I feel like that could have just been the stop and we could have continued in the next book. But overall, I'm really looking forward to the next one because I like that fantasy aspect with the Fae and like the way of life that she came from and just how strong she is and how he was like a big dark broody pile cloud of doom, and then he's secretly a mushball. So I did enjoy this. So I ended the month by reading Lights Out. And this ended up being kind of a buddy read with my friend Jen. Another friend of ours said they had started it, and Jen and I were like, looked at each other like, let's go buy. Like right now. So we kind of just jumped on her reading train and created a buddy read moment. And another friend of ours had read it right before that. So we kind of just all got to talk about it. So that was really cool. I actually think I like just buddy reading better than regular reading. Does that make sense? Because then I at least have people I can be like, did you get to this page yet? Oh my God, and get real life reactions instead of me just sending my poor best friend Nicole snaps that don't make any sense to her because she's not reading the book and she's not going to read it. I enjoyed this book overall because it was like low-key Deadpool with smut. Does that make sense? I don't know. He just reminded me so much of Deadpool that I was like, overall, I was like, oh, yes. And I'm sad we have to wait for the next one. And this is my preferred cover. So I'm glad that I got this one and not the other option that is out there. But I really love this book and I haven't shut the hell up about it. This or Quicksilver since I read it. So there's that. As far as the books on my Kindle, The bulk of what I read was by Victoria Aveline, so I was finishing what is already out of the Clickanian. Anyway, the series I did make a video about last month. It's so far I want to say there's 7 books out, 7, 8 books out. The last one is like a novella. I know she's working on continuing it, but the series overall was really great. It kind of ties everything together when you read each one. Overall, I'm just interested to see what happens because there's a lot of politics happening in the storyline, and I don't want to give away spoilers, but some of it has made me very sad and interested to see how that's going to play out. And I hope I'm right with what I think might happen, or I have like a little idea, but I don't want to give too much away. 2 other books I read were on my Kindle were by Rebecca F. Kenny, and it's her series about dragons. So the first book is called Warriors of Wind and Ash, and the second book is Serpents of Sky and Flame, and that's a series 2. There's more coming out, and I didn't realize that the next book is not out, and I'm sad now. It was a little bit darker than I thought it was going to be, although there were a lot of parts in the first book that I was like cackling just because of the miscommunication between a literal dragon and a human woman was, I don't know, cracked me the hell up. But in that series, all the female dragons are killed by a sorcerer, and the dragons decide to kind of take war prizes and take females from the enemy territory, and they have a sorceress that they're going to force to turn these women into dragons, because they're not shapeshifter dragons. They're literal just like dragons, like Taryn. If Taryn decided, I'm going to go hijack a chick and make her my mate, like that. They get the sorceress to help, and the spell does not quite go the way that they think it's going to go, but I like it. You know, it's a love story, and it does end on a cliffhanger-ish, and the second book, there are so many good side characters that I hope we get to see them again. I was like loving the addition of like the rebels and like other people that came in. Story is, you know, spicy. There's some humor. There's a little dark. It's darker in the second book, but I love dragons. I love monster romance, so it was great. But other than that, that's all I got through, which was not a lot for me. This time last year, I read like 35 books in January, but I'm trying to like pace myself and just not be, you know, a psychopath and just read. So what are your goals for February? Do you have any? Or what are you already reading? I think this month I'm probably going to end up reading more than last month, but we'll see. Let me know what your goals are, what you read in January. I know I'm late. And, you know, did you read anything good lately? Because I'd like to know. I'll talk to you later. Okay, love you. Bye.